What's going on YouTube? 3G Racing here, come back at you with another video today, and we are swapping a new intake manifold onto the Eclipse here, so hoping to pick up enough power to get that first 13-second pass. That would be awesome. But yeah, it's a 6074 intake manifold. I'm gonna start ripping this apart. I got all new plugs for it, new gaskets, everything, so we should be ready to rip as soon as I can get this on, get it tuned, and hopefully next weekend SCCA. So let's get right into the action. Alright guys, so I started test fitting it on the parts car over here. This is just an extra throttle body that I have, but yeah, I started test fitting it. I already immediately saw something that's not going to work. So this here solenoid, it bumps into the body of the car right there. So I think I can just delete it, but I'm not positive. But everything else should just be a plug and play. So let's go take the old one off and throw this new one on here. All right, so we're going to start by just unplugging the battery, taking off the cold air intake here. So it's going to have to get this unplugged, just like so, and then we'll take a 12 millimeter and get these battery terminals off. All right, so we got the battery out now. Time to loosen up these hose clamps, get the cold air intake out of here. Realistically, just the top half too. The bottom half doesn't really matter that much, but I might just take the whole thing out, just clear up space. All right, so I got the whole cold air intake here. It came out as one piece, pretty simple. I think I'm gonna need to get some new little couplings here, the little rubber pieces, just because they're starting to crack, and I don't want to get anything, any rubber chunks in the engine there. So got that out. Next up, start disconnecting all this stuff here, and we'll get that new intake manifold on. All right, since I literally need to replace just about everything, I'm just gonna start tearing stuff apart. So just gonna unplug all the sensors and other accessories that are attached to the upper intake manifold here. I'm changing out the plugs too, so we're gonna do all that, but we're gonna just start by just taking everything off so that way this thing's easy to get off. So there's a bunch of just little bolts here and there. So I already took this little ground cable there off. This is for the O2 sensors. There's another 2 bolts you have to get right. See right there, and then there's another one back here. Can't really see it, but it's right there. There you go. But yeah, you gotta take those off. And there's a few bolts back there, and then a bunch of 12 millimeters up here. So we're gonna start ripping it apart, and I'll show you guys how to do it. So we'll start by getting this 10 millimeter off here. Just crank that just like so, and then we got this one up here. And we'll just be able to twist those off. Alright guys, so there's also this little red clamp up here, or I guess not red clamp, red sensor up here. So all you gotta do is lift this up with a flathead screwdriver, and it'll just slide right off. That way you don't gotta worry about these like 8 millimeter bolts. Kind of tough to get that back one off, so you'll just slide that off of there, and then we're getting closer to being able to remove this intake manifold. All right guys, and also just to make the process a little easier on yourself, you can take out these this little strut tower bar here. It's just 4 12 millimeter bolt, actually 6 12 millimeter bolts, and it's really easy, just slides right out. So free up some space back there, you'll be able to reach the bolts a little easier. Yeah, so once you're able to get those bolts out, it comes out real easy. Just gotta slide it right off. It just pops right out of there, just like that. And then we'll just set that to the side for now. But yeah, that frees up a good amount of space back there. You'll be able to reach those bolts in the back. Okay, so now that we got a little bit more space, it'll give us a lot more room to start wrenching on this thing. So it should only be a few more bolts and we can just pull it right out. I know there's the ones up here. This right here, so yeah, not too many. I think there's probably like 8 9 bolts that hold the intake manifold down in total. So it should be pretty easy just to pull this thing off. Alright guys, so I was able to tear out all these front bolts. There's the one over there, this one that holds on to the motor mount there, and there's 1 2 3, another one right there, and then the 2 up top here. Now I just got to get the ones in the back, and this should be ready to take off right after I disconnect the throttle cable there. Alright guys, so it's very vital that once you do get this intake manifold off, that you cover up the intake holes there, because if you get anything in there, your engine's pretty much gonna be toast. So just make sure you cover it up so nothing can fall through those holes. Alright guys, now the intake manifold's completely off. As you can see, we got the front and the back. The V6 here, we got both valve covers there, so I'm gonna have to take those off with the spark plugs, and we'll place the gaskets in there. Alright guys, for the valve covers, it's just these 6 bolts here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is right in there. 5, 6. So pop those out. Also got to take off the little mounting point for the throttle cable there, but yeah, it'll be the same on the back, and then we'll be able to replace those gaskets. Alright guys, so I got the cover off here, and it's pretty dirty, but honestly the gasket looked pretty good inside. What I had noticed is none of the bolts were tightened down, so that could be the reason for an oil leak, which wouldn't have been anything that I did because I never had to deal with this yet. But yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that the bolts weren't tightened down at all. But I'm just going to change the gasket out while it's out, and we'll put it back on there. Alright guys, so here is the inside of the motor there. It all looks pretty healthy. I don't see any clear signs of damage or wear, so I'd say we're good to put everything back together and move on to the back. Alright guys, so I finally got this stupid rubber gasket out of here. I still got to get a little bit of the remnants out of the bottom, but that was a nightmare. I'm not doing it on the back. I'm just going to try to tighten it and put in the new spark plug little gaskets there, but yeah, that was a nightmare. I took about 45 minutes to an hour. I cut myself probably 30 times. Alright guys, so I just put the new plugs in the car. I had to put in plug wires too because the old wires wouldn't go back in. The little rubber was going bad, but I'll let you guys take a look at that quick. So there's the new wires. Everything's looking good. I just have to do the back side now, then we can start fabbing up or mocking up the new intake manifold. Alright guys, so I made the decision. I'm just going to use this 3.0 throttle body with the 3.5 intake. That way we're not running into anything and I won't change too much with the car. So I don't think I'll lose too much power. I should still gain 10 to 15 compared to maybe 15 to 20. So it's not that big of a difference. I just really don't want to start bashing in the firewall and stuff. So I think I'm just going to use a 3.0 intake or throttle body, and then we'll go from there. Alright guys, so I got it to fit on here, and it looks nice and mean, but it's still, I was told the 3.0 throttle body won't work, so I'm going to have to figure something out about that. I had to take off the EGR valve back there, which there's just a bracket in the way, which I'll have to adjust and custom fab something up just to be able to hold it back there, but it's looking good. So here's where we're sitting. We got everything fitted and on. I need to switch out the throttle bodies and punch that firewall in a little bit and just get everything reconnected, but it's looking good so far. Everything fits properly. I want to get this painted and cleaned up. Just wanted to size it first. But yeah, it's all coming along nicely, and hopefully we can finish this up in this video here. Alright guys, so I took all the accessories off of here. It's still kind of dirty, but this is all like so stuck on there. I was scrubbing it for a long time. It wouldn't come off, so I'm just going to paint over it and we'll see the result. But we're using this chrome paint right here, so it should be nice and shiny. Alright guys, we got the first coat of paint on, and it's looking better already. That looks so good with the chrome there. Letting it dry out in the sun, and then I'll put another coat on. But yeah, that looks pretty fly. Alright guys, so while we're waiting for the paint to dry over there, we're going to need to hit this piece of firewall in right there, just a little bit to have clearance for the throttle body. So I'm going to start banging that in, and yeah, let's get to it. Dude, I heard a little buzzing coming from the car, and I'm like, yo, what is that? I popped the hood, I can't find anything. There's a bee stuck in the little flaps in there by the wheel. Dude, I thought something broke, and meanwhile, it was just this guy. He's screwed. Let's see if I can get him out of there. I got the throttle body all mounted up here. I'm working on just connecting everything, putting it all back together. I have to throw my new vacuum hoses onto one of these here. I just gotta remember where everything goes, get it all mounted up. But hopefully we can get this done today and let her eat. Alright guys, so another problem I ran into, this little sensor here that plugs into right there is in a different location than on the stock manifold, so I had to cut it off, and we are working on extending it here, rewiring it, and making it long enough. Alright y'all, so it's all wired up, ready to go there. I'm just gonna have to cover it up and put that back into place. I think we'll just mount all those wires up back there. So alright guys, so now I'm working on replacing these vacuum lines. I got the one from here to the little solenoid there. I don't know if that's for cruise control or what, but got that one on there. I know these two right here go to these two little nozzles right there on the throttle body. And then I forget where these two go. I'm sure one of them goes right on that nozzle there, but I'm gonna look back at my old clips and see if I can find where that one goes. And then I also need to figure out what that's for. All right, y'all, so I went to start the car. Battery is dead, so we're gonna let the battery charge overnight, do it tomorrow morning, but I'll show you what we're looking at right now. So everything's in. It's also nighttime now, so it's kind of hard to see, but I got everything in. New vacuum hoses in there. Everything's hooked up, should be ready to go. I need to just finish up with some loose odds and ends, figure something out for the throttle cable back there, but it looks really clean. I'm excited to get her started, so I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. All right, guys, so it's the next morning now. I got everything tied together here. The original battery is still dead, so I put the one in from the CUDA, but we're gonna fire it up and see if she starts. It's running a lot smoother now. I don't know. Is that just coming from the air intake? Sounds like it's coming from the intake. All right, guys, so it's all bolted together here. Everything's good. It's running smooth, idling smooth. I have to still fix the throttle cable, create a bracket back there. But yeah, good to hear the car running again. So looks a lot better this way too. I have to get a new battery, and I think this, my dad was pointing this out here. So this is cracked here. I think it's creating a vacuum leak possibly. But yeah. All right, y'all, so she's up, running and driving now. So that is a relief. Very happy about that. Next video, I'll get a ride along. We'll take the car on a spin, see how she runs, see if she feels any quicker. But yeah, very excited to get that done. Like I said, looks a lot better too. So I'll just get those things, put them on next week, and we should be ready to let this thing rip at the track again. So I'm excited.